Are you thinking about purchasing a brand new home here in Las Vegas and you want to go through the design studio and you're going through the electrical and you have no clue on how to run your electrical? Look, I understand, building a home could be a little bit confusing sometimes, especially when you're running high and low voltage. Well, don't worry. In today's video, I'm going to break down exactly what all this stuff means on this diagram, and I'm going to show you exactly what to look out for and the things that you need, so that way, when you sell your home, you do retain its value. Let's get started. Now, when you are purchasing a brand new home out here in Las Vegas or anywhere, you're going to go through the design studio and you're going to run electrical. This is where you're going to get with the electrician, and they're going to show you exactly what comes standard with the home. And they're also going to sell you some upgraded features and options as far as high and low voltage. So today I'm going to break everything down with you and show you exactly what needs to be done. So the first thing that you need to do is actually get the diagram of the property. And I'm going to give you an example here. So I actually have a client that's going through a process right now building a home with a builder out here in Lake Las Vegas. So I had asked him to send me over the diagram so that way I could take a look at it. So here on my screen, you can see the diagram. So the first thing that you need to take a look at is the floor plan of the home. So let's zoom in. Let's see exactly what this looks like here for the floor plan. So as you can see, this is actually a 2-car garage here, okay? This section right here is actually a flex space. This is the porch. This is where you walk into your door, right? Right here's your door and the foyer here. Here's your hallway. And here is another hallway. Right off to the right, we have our linen closet, access to the garage door. This comes into bedroom number 2. And this, we have our bathroom. Here, as you can see, this is the main living area, okay? Now with the main living area, as you can see, we have your dining area. This is what we call the cafe. And then we have our kitchen, our great room, or our living room. Then we have our pantry up here. We have our covered patio here. And we have the owner's suite with the primary bathroom and also the walk-in closet. So this kind of really gives you a general idea of the layout of the floor plan. But also, when we are running electrical, you got to make sure that the way that you run electrical, is it functional to the way that you operate your home? And what I mean by that is when you're coming in and out of your home, right? Where do you utilize most of your space? Where do you think you need most of your lighting? So the first thing that we're going to do is actually start off here in the garage. Now I'm going to give you an idea of what all these means, right? So we have these little indicators right here. So if you see this right here, all this means is that there is actually an outlet here. So we have one outlet here, one outlet here, okay? Then we also have this dollar sign. Now, what is this dollar sign? Basically, this is a switch, right? So we have a switch here. Then we also have 2 switches right here. So this switch right here actually controls this light right here. This is the halogen light. Now, actually, you know what? It's not a halogen light. I'm lying. This is actually just a regular fluorescent light, but I would actually probably change this out for an 8-foot LED light. Now, as you can see, with all the space that they have inside this garage, this is probably a 300 square feet garage. Now, this light is probably not going to be enough to supply it. So I probably wouldn't do an upgrade here, but I would actually make sure it's pre-wired, okay? Now, one of the things that I would also consider and actually take a look at is a 8-foot LED light. Because if you have an 8-foot LED light, number one, it saves you actually power. And this is something that you can actually buy at Lowe's or actually Home Depot. And also, it's very bright. You want your garage as bright as possible, okay? Now, on the exterior of the garage here, as you can see, these are coach lights right here, okay? Then we have another coach light here because, as you can see, there's a door access right here that allows you to walk outside of your garage. But this is actually a service door, and this service door is actually an option during the build, okay? So now let's take a look at a couple things. We do have our soft water loop right here. Now, let me go to this to kind of give you a general idea. Okay, so this light switch, let's see here. We're going to go to here. So this light switch operates this light. So imagine pulling in and out of your garage, right? You're probably going to access your house through your garage door, okay? So when you do that, you're coming in and out, you're going to have a light switch here that connects to this. However, one thing I want you to think about is if you actually have a Tesla, and a lot of people nowadays have Teslas, right? You got to think between you and your spouse, or if you guys both have Teslas, where are you going to park your Tesla? And where is your plug-in? So in this garage, it does not have a 220. So you're going to need a 220 because these are actually 110 outlets, right? So if you're going to do a Tesla, is your plug-in on the right-hand side or the passenger side or actually on the driver's side? If it is on a passenger side and as you're pulling in here, okay, the question is, are you parking on this side of the garage or are you parking on this side of the garage? So let's just say if you're parking your car on this side and your Tesla plug-in, let's just say, I don't have a Tesla so I don't know, your plug-in is on the passenger side, then you may want to have a 220 here. Now, this is something that you probably want to pre-wire early stages because your service box is going to be on the side of the garage. This is where your panel is for your power, right? Now, if you did this aftermarket, it's not that much more to do it. But however, if you're planning on parking your Tesla on this side of the garage, then you're going to want to pre-wire that right here. Now, another thing. One thing I've noticed is that our refrigerators standards are like 32 inches, right? Or cubic inches. That's just not enough for a refrigerator. Like, we know we like to store food and hoard food for some apparent reason. Now, a lot of times what people will do is that you see this outlet right here. This is a 110 outlet. People will actually plug in the refrigerator right here. However, the problem is that sometimes when you have too much outlets that's designated to 1 amperage, right? What happens is it could actually pop. If it pops, then your food goes bad in your garage. So if you are deciding to put a refrigerator inside your garage, the first thing is that where do you put it, okay? We know that your soft water loop is here. Your tankless water heater is here. So we know that when you pull in your car, you need to make sure how long is your car. Typically, people would actually put it right next to your service door, right? So if this is your refrigerator here, we know what we need is a 110 with a designated breaker, right? And it has to be at least 20 amps. So I'm going to write 20 amps here. So that way you have an idea. So we want to make sure there's 20 amps. So that's something that I would highly recommend that you do. Also, I'm going to go to low voltage real quick. Low voltage is anything below 110. Now, this home does not have a garage door opener. So this is something that I would probably highly consider. I would actually pre-wire your garage door opener right here, okay? With your garage door opener, you're also going to have some sensors right here and also right here, okay? Now, with the garage door opener, once you buy the garage door opener from the new home builder, it does not come with the keypad. So now the next thing that you want to do is actually purchase a keypad with them. Now you're going to have to figure out, do you want to put your keypad on this side or on this side? So that's something that I definitely would highly recommend. Now let's move on. Now we're going to take a look at the flex space here. So as you can see with the flex space, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outlets inside this flex space. So the question is, what are you going to do with this flex space? Okay, what are you going to utilize it for? Is it going to be a reading room? Okay. Is it going to be a office with a Murphy bed, just in case if you have guests? Because this is technically a 2-bedroom home. This could have been a 3. However, this is just a 2 with a flex space. So you need to identify that, right? So let's just say you decide that you want to make this as your office, okay? Now, if you're going to make this as your office, as you can see, there is no lights. However, there is one light switch here that actually connects to this. This is a half hot. What this means is that this is an outlet, and it's actually identified inside the bedroom, and it's actually upside down to identify a half hot. Now, if you have a half hot, the bottom plug allows you to plug in a lamp light, which allows you to turn this light switch on and off this lamp light. But now you have a lamp light. But it's probably not going to be as bright, right? So if it's not as bright, you do have a window here up in the front, and that's it, guys, right? So if you are on a budget, however, I would highly recommend always do 4-can lighting, okay? In this situation, let's just say if you were on a budget, I would just do a pre-wire, right? Pre-wire ceiling fan. Sorry, my ceiling fans are not that great. Here we go. Pre-wire ceiling fan. Now, if I did a pre-wire ceiling fan, at this point, you want to figure out, okay, how many switches do you need now, right? Because you only have one switch here is for this half hot. But now we need to get another switch, another one that runs from here all the way to the ceiling fan. However, now you need to identify this type of ceiling fan that you're going to be buying aftermarket. Does it come with a remote? If it comes with a remote, then you just need one switch for it. Now, if it doesn't come with a remote, then we need another switch here. Now we have 2 switches, one for the light for the ceiling fan and one for the ceiling fan itself and another one for your half hot. So that's probably something that I would do. However, if you are on a budget, then we could just eliminate one of these switches, have one switch, have it wired to the remote for the ceiling fan. Now let's move on to the hallway. So the hallway here, we have 2 switches. So the first thing that we would have to identify for this switch, what light does it turn on? It ends up probably turning on to this light. And this makes sense because once you walk out of your room, you want to turn this on, so you switch on this light. If you're coming from your main living area, you want to turn on this light here, okay? But also, we need to identify, does it also connect to this light switch, okay? Because as you're coming down this hallway, you want to make sure you turn on this light, all these lights turn on. So that's something that you must identify, okay? Now, this section is good. Let's walk into this bedroom here. So, bedroom, we have an outlet here, outlet here again, another outlet here. Then we have, again, our half hot, which is our lamp light. That's controlled by this switch here as you enter, okay? I always talk about having 4-can lighting, but again, if you are on a budget, okay, you're just going to do the pre-wire ceiling fan. Now, on this one, you could always just do one light here, but I would always recommend to always do your ceiling fan. I know that's not a great ceiling fan, guys. Okay. Then we're going to do another switch here that's going to control this. Okay. And I think we are perfectly fine. Okay. Now, one thing I did not mention, and I want to go back because to this flex space, we are utilizing this, right, as an office. Okay. So let me get rid of some of this stuff, so that way you guys can see and you guys have a general idea. So if this is going to be an office, okay, which way is your desk going to face? This is going to be important, okay? Where are you going to be putting that desk? Are you going to be putting up against the wall? Are you going to be putting into the center of the room? We know we have a window here, right? So let's just pretend that we want to put our desk somewhere along here. Now, as I put my desk here, I know my chair is going to be here, right? Now I'm facing this way. The light is coming in this way, and we have more light coming in this way, which is great. However, we need some sort of outlet on the floor, inside the foundation. So this is something that you have to think about ahead of time, because when you're going through the construction phases of your home, especially when you're doing high and low voltage, there's certain things that you must do in order. So when it comes to outlets on the ground, you have to do that before they actually lay down the foundation. So this is something that you want to do and make sure it's done before you go under contract, or make sure it's actually in the contract when you're putting together the contract before they pull the permits, okay? So now going back, so we have our table here, our desk, and then we have the chair. Now, let's just say you want an outlet here. The reason why we probably want an outlet on the foundation is because you don't want cords going across the table. It just doesn't look as clean. Typically, a lot of these desks now, they'll actually have like a little hole where you can shove, your power through and also connect your Ethernet and all that stuff, right? Now, let's just say you want to put a TV here. As small as this bedroom is, okay, you cannot really have like a dresser or anything like that. And the reason why, because it takes up too much space. So to maximize your space, you're probably going to want to hang your TV. Now, if you're going to hang your TV, right, you're probably going to want to put a outlet 60 inches on your wall. Get rid of the Smurf tube. So now you're going to have to pay for another outlet here. So you're going to have to put one more outlet right here, 60 inches, okay? Then we're going to need a 1 and 1. Now, what do I mean by 1 and 1? This is where we're going to be putting your power over Ethernet, which is your Cat 6, right? We definitely need that. And your coax cable. Reason why we're going to put that right here, 60 inches, is because that way now you have the option to use your Cat 6 to plug in to your TV for fast internet, right? To watch TV stream very fast. Or we can go wireless too as well. And also if you want to have that option to add your coax cable if you're going through Cox cable. And what's great about this is that once you mount your box behind your TV, you can actually connect your HD TV as well to it, right? So that is an option. So now I'm going to go back to the bedrooms, and that's the same thing for here. So another thing that we would have to identify in bedroom number 2 now is to figure out where you're going to be putting your bed, okay? So the door's here. We have a window here. Your closet's here, okay? Then we have this extra space here. So the question is, where do we put the bed? The bed is probably going to come right about here. Okay? So if this is your bed, the good news is this. If you have 2 nightstands, one here, okay? This light switch connects to this half hot. You put a lamp here, only this lamp turns on. Here's a quick tip. You can actually get extension cord underneath your bed to this one, to this lamp light. So that way, once you turn on the lights, you turn on these 2 lights. And then we only have one switch for your ceiling fan. But then we have your remote for the ceiling fan. So that's probably going to be the most cost effective for this layout and this design. But also, here we do have enough room because we have an outlet that's 16 inches from the floor here. Okay, now we may just want to go ahead and add a 1 and 1, which is your coax cable right here. Okay, and your Wi-Fi connection, your power over Ethernet. What's great about this now is now that you put your nightstand here, you can put your TV on top because you have room. But this is an option if you want to go ahead and do that, or do a Smurf tube to hang your TV. Now coming over into the bathroom number 2. So let's take a look at bathroom number 2. So we know we have a light here, a light here. Then we also have an outlet here. This outlet here is probably a GFI, which is a breaker, right? So this is the light switch to turn this on, and also to turn on this light right here. This light switch is to turn on this 2 hallway lights here, okay? So let's take a look at this. One thing I want you to do is when you're walking the model, while these lights are on, is this the standard lights that do come with it? These are recessed lighting here. This may not be enough lights, okay? You may have to add one more light right here, okay? Right above here. So that way everything illuminates very well because there's no windows. So that's something that you really have to think about. Now let's come on out to the foyer, okay? We have 2 lights here, but then we have a light switch here, okay? Then another light switch. Now this light switch here, okay, I'm not too sure where this powers, but this is where we would have to find out from the builder. So this is a question I would have to ask the builder, because this light switch should control these 2 lights here. This light switch could possibly control the living room lights. We don't know. So we're going to skip that. But this is the reason why this is important, that we actually take a look at this and we ask these type of questions. Here we have 3 switches, right? Now, this right here is actually a pre-wire. This is a wireless access point, okay? So basically what the wireless access point is, this is if you have Wi-Fi. This is where you can actually connect the booster. And this is actually above on the ceiling. Because what happens is, when you have this booster and you have a Wi-Fi, it may only cover this much of the house. So anything within this circumference, you'll have a strong signal. But this is low voltage, okay? But I'm not going to talk about that right now. But I just wanted to give you an idea. So we have 2 lights here. So these 2 lights probably connect to this one, connects to this one. This one probably connects to this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now, what are those? Those are the kitchen lights. This is where you're going to be putting your dining room table. So the question is, what type of table are you going to put here? Do you want to have a chandelier here? So if you want to have a chandelier here, then at this point, then you would go ahead and add another light source right there, okay? Here, we have another light switch, and typically this light switch here would come over here for pendant lighting. Now the pendant lighting, you do have the option just to do the pre-wire. Now, not all the time that, you know, it's worth it to do 3 pendant lighting. Sometimes it's only worth it to do 2, just depending on the type of design that you want for your pendant lighting, right? And the builders don't really have too much an option as far as pendant lighting. So you need to figure out ahead of time, what type of pendant lighting do you want? And sometimes, depending on how large that island is, if it's too small, then you just need 2 pendant islands. I mean, 2 pendants versus 3. So that's something that you really have to think about. Now, another thing with the kitchen that I want you to be aware of, this definitely has enough lights. Now, with the kitchen, if you are planning on having LED strips underneath your light rail, which is underneath your cabinets, okay, you can actually pre-wire for that. The cheapest and most cost-effective way is to do outlets, okay? So these are actually outlets, but they're above the counter, okay, and below the cabinet because it's actually required. But the way that this is designed, we have 4 separate areas for the cabinets. So let's just say if you put one here, one here, one here, one here above the cabinets, we add another light switch here. And this one controls this one, this one, this one, this one. Now this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4-way switch. What you're going to do is you're going to have these outlets above your cabinet, and this is the cheapest way because these run about $125 a piece, right? Depending on the builder. Now you can buy these LED strips from Lowe's, Home Depot, Amazon, whatever it is. They don't cost that much. Let me give you an example. I actually have one. Let me grab one for you. So this right here literally only cost me about $19, and they have like all different colors that you can change. Now the reason why I would go this route and have the outlet above, a couple things. I can do lights above and underneath the cabinets. If you do, make sure you get a light rail. You would do the same thing above here, above here, above here, and underneath the cabinets, okay? And the cool thing about this is you can always change the color. That allows you to change the mood and the environment of the house, right? Or the kitchen. And it's really nice to have that feature. Now, if you were going to do this directly through the builder, it would cost you a lot more money than a few $100. Now, I'm going to move on to the laundry room. So the laundry room, we actually have 2 lights with 1 switch, okay? Now, right here is basically what is this? Oh, this is the hinge for the 120. Okay. So right here, this is just where the door is, and also this is where your exhaust is going to be, okay? So this controls this light, controls this light here. Now moving along, I know this is such a mess, guys. I do apologize. Maybe I can make this a little bit thinner. Let's see here. Let's go to this one, okay? Now coming here, we have another switch here. This switch probably controls this light, this light, this light, this light, this light, this light. Reason why this is important, because sometimes builders will only give you 1 rocker switch here. You walk in to your home, you turn on the lights here, you decide that you want to go to bed. Now you got to walk all the way back here to turn off your kitchen light. This allows you to control the lights here on both areas or both sides, okay? Now moving on to the main living room, okay? Living room does come pre-wired with the ceiling fan. That's great. But you see how large this room is? Now, when it comes to lighting, depending on the watts of the light, also the type of light, the type of bulb you get as well as far as the daylight, soft white, okay, it illuminates down the can and it spreads. As it spreads down the can, it starts from 1 feet, 2 feet, 3, 4, 5, and it spreads out, but it gets lighter and lighter. So you have to take a look at how large this living room is. You already have a pre-wire for your ceiling fan. One thing I would probably do is have can here, a can here, another one here, another one here. Okay. Now we have to identify that we have 4 cans. Now keep in mind, it's also cheaper if you buy a package of 4, right, than if you bought 1 single can at one time from the builder. That's just how it is. So let's take a look at this. Now, the question is, you're spending time in your living room, okay? When you're coming and going, where do we run the switch, okay? I would probably run another switch here. So let's make an S here. And then I probably would have another switch, right? Maybe over here, okay? Or you could always have another switch here as you're coming into your garage through the foyer to turn on all these switches. So I could add another one here, and I probably would. So this is how it works. goes here, 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 right? Here. I'm going to continue this one here and bring it all the way over here. And that's probably going to be my best bet because I want to have that option where I can control everything from here. Also, another thing that you may want to consider is they do have systems now with these rocker switches. You can change them out with Bluetooth, right? And what's so great about the Bluetooth is that now you can actually connect the lights to the Bluetooth and you can actually have apps, which you can literally turn on all your lights through an app. There's so many companies out there, okay? Another thing that we're going to take a look at the living room, okay? Which way are we going to face our couch? So we have a 1-in-1 right here. This is plus 1-in-1, 16 inches off the floor, your coax cable, and your power over Ethernet or your Cat 6. Now the question is, are you going to hang your TV again? Sometimes you have the option to do a Smurf tube, okay? Here we have 3 switches. We already know probably one switch here controls this. This switch here probably controls this, okay? This switch here could control this. However, that's something I don't know until I actually speak to the builder. And this is the reason why you have to really understand the diagram of the home, and you have to ask the right questions, and you have to spec out your home correctly. And it also has to be tailored and function to your lifestyle, right? Here we have outlets here. Now I'm going to come into the primary. Again, with the primary, come standard with your 1-in-1 here. We've got 3 switches that come standard. So that tells me 1 goes to your half hot, 1 goes to your ceiling fan, and the other one goes to your ceiling fan light. Now I'd probably add 4-can lighting here. And I'm sorry guys, my drawing's not that great. So then we have connection here, here, and here. Now technically, all this should be in the middle. So this should be right here. This should be like that. And that should be like that. Let me delete that, redo this. And let me rerun this. So we're going to go light here, 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 and then there. Then we're going to do another rocker switch here. So now we have 4 rocker switches. You see how that works, guys? Now coming into the bathroom, okay, we have 2 overhead lights here. Recessed lights. Now with the recessed lights here, now I know a lot of you ladies, love to do makeup and stuff like that. Now, do we have enough light? That's something that you need to take a look at. Sometimes you may want to add a sconce light here, right? That's totally up to you. Now, as you can see, there's no light that comes in here, okay? We may need another light here. Again, that's optional. Coming into the closet. Closet here, we have 2 lights. Now, if you are planning on building a custom closet, these 2 lights here connected to this rocker switch. Let's say if you wanted to build a custom closet and you decide to reach on out to my girl Pat at Closets Las Vegas to get a discount code, make sure let her know that I sent you, and I guarantee they will take care of you. One of our sponsors. One thing I would do is add a switch here, another switch, okay? Then above here, 12 inches above the wall or the ceiling, add an outlet, okay? But make sure this one is actually a half hot. Reason why I want to make sure this is a half hot is because I want a couple options here. One option is when you build a custom closet, you ever see how like they have those LED lights in the closet and it looks all nice and it really showcases your your shoes and all that stuff, you have that option by doing that with this switch, right? With your half hot. But then you might have another plug that you want designated that's completely on 24 hours where you can use it as a plug, right? Now, you can also run a cable underneath the cabinet. So that way, if you ever want to vacuum in here, you also have that option too as well, okay? So that's what I would do. Now, coming into the pantry, as you can see, the pantry here, okay, has one switch that goes to this light. I would change this out to a LED light, 8-foot LED light. You want it nice and bright here. Cover patio now. Let's take a look at the cover patio. So cover patio. Imagining you're going to hang out. Weather's great. Where do you put your cover patio? Well, sorry. It's not where you put your cover patio. It's where do you put your furniture under your cover patio. So we know that we have two lights here. We have one outlet here, 16 inches, okay? This actually controls these two lights, okay? We have a sliding door here, a window here, okay? Let's just say you want to put your couch here. You have this beautiful sectional, beautiful retreat area. We know we have an outlet here, okay? We could always tap this in, hang your TV, but then you're going to have a cord, okay? So the question is, instead of having this here, can we raise this up 60 inches? So that way we can hide that outlet behind the TV, because you're probably going to do a wireless or TV through Wi-Fi anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So that's probably what I would do. And another thing is a ceiling fan. At least pre-wire your ceiling fan right here, so that way if you ever decide that you want to turn on your fan, you have that option. So you might want to add another switch here and have it controlled from the inside of your house. Now let's talk about outside of your home. This is important. Okay, a lot of you guys want to run some cameras and stuff like that. So the question is, where do we put cameras and the type of cameras? Question is, are you planning on having a DVR where you are controlling your camera system yourself? You are recording the data yourself. For me, I personally like to have a third-party company to monitor it as well, okay? It's just a lot easier. If you do that, okay, you could do this a couple ways. You can power it through power over Ethernet, which is your Cat 6, or you can do 110. That is an option, okay? And it's connected through Wi-Fi. If you do power over Ethernet, that's how it gets power, audio, and video, okay? But then it has to be ran somewhere. But now, we need to figure all that out. So let's just say, in this video, we're just going to do wireless. We got to run 110. So we have two access points inside here for safety purposes, right? We know that we need to put a camera here somewhere. We're not going to put a camera here. This is not going to make sense because we need to run power somewhere. Where do we run power? We got to utilize it, right? And we got to figure out where we're going to face the camera. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is access point is here. We have a window here. Here's another access point. So somebody's going to break in. They're going to be breaking in through here. Okay. One thing that I would do is that we have this pillar here. We're going to put a outlet here. Okay. Actually, I made a mistake. The outlet goes here. Then we have camera that goes here. Reason why we're doing a camera here is you can see you have a camera facing here. You get all this right here. Okay. Matter of fact, let me just do this for right now because I know this could be like very confusing. Too much of my drawings here. So we're going to do another outlet here, but I want the camera be facing this way. So that way it captures all this, captures all this. Who's coming in, who's coming out. but your outlet's going to be here, but then you can run your camera here, but then you have an additional outlet, right? Now that you have an additional outlet, you can also connect two cameras. You can run a camera here that gets all of this right here with the side of your house. You see that? You can also run it going this way. But I prefer the cameras going this way and going this way. So now this whole side of the house is covered. Now we're going to do this same thing right here. We're going to do outlet. Now you're not going to keep your outlet low. This is going to be high above the eaves, okay? Where nobody can get to. Now you can run a camera here. That's going to get all this. Covers this window. Covers all this. Here, we're going to do another camera here. Gets all of this. See that? So basically, now we have 4 cameras. But what we did was only utilize 2 outlets to save you money. Now let's go back here. This is important, right? We got to cover all this space here. Then we have all this space here that you need to think about. Now you also need to make sure to get with your HOA to see if you can actually put a camera out in front of your house, okay? Now one thing I've noticed here is that we already have all this space covered here, okay? I would probably run another camera right here with an outlet above, so that way you can get this whole front door, this whole access, because this is only a side access to your front door. I don't like that, so I want all this covered, whoever comes in, okay? Now you may have the option to put one here to get all this, and then you may want to get one that goes all along this side of the house. But that's optional, okay? Now, another thing that I want to mention, if you guys are into like Christmas lights and all that stuff, okay? Underneath the eave of the house, you may want to run another outlet. And then you may want to run another switch here. I've done this on a lot of custom homes. Now we're going overboard. So that way, if somebody comes out and connects all your lights all around your house, okay, all the way around your house, you can now control it from this one switch from the garage, which is very cool. Now, another thing is that if you want to do floodlights, sometimes people would put a floodlight right here, okay, and one right here. Sometimes it could be annoying with some of these floodlights where it automatically just kicks on as a sensor. Your bedroom is right here, the window's here. If it kicks on because the cat walks through, next thing you know it goes off. And you're like, dude, what the hell? It's like so bright. You can actually have a two-way switch somewhere in your room or anywhere, and then you can control it from your two-way switch. So at this point, it's so many options that you guys can do. I mean, we can go on and on with low voltage as far as like surround sounds, distribute sounds. But that is totally up to you. But I just wanted to give you the logistics of things. And I think this is where it's important that you have somebody actually help you through this process of the electrical part. Because on the resale side, this is where you're going to get more bang for your buck, right? And if you guys like more videos like this, let us know in the comments below, and I'll create more videos like this. And also, if you guys don't have a real estate agent that's representing you out here in Las Vegas, we definitely would love the opportunity to represent you. There's no cost to you whatsoever. And if you are thinking about selling a home in a different state, we can actually help you with that too as well. Other than that, until next time, I'm Chakits with Simply Vegas. See you guys later. Peace. If you guys want to check out all our video home tours, we have over 1,800 video home tours. Just go ahead and click on this video right here. If you guys are in the market and you want to purchase a home and want to get started, visit lvhomeexperts.com. Scan this QR code right now. Also, if you guys just love real estate and want to get into real estate, go ahead and subscribe to our second channel. Until next time, peace.